Good morning. I've just woken up naturally at about 7 o'clock. I'm just leaving the gaff because I'm going down to get some croissants. Mrs. Tooth is still in bed, but I thought I'd bring you round because I wanted to bring you this way because it's more or less sunrise, people, and that's where we're staying, right there just behind us. And if I flick you around, this is what we're dealing with, people. This is what we're dealing with. It's not so much that, it's sunrise. And the sun is literally just coming up over the cliffs on the other side there. So I thought I'd bring you down here, give you a little view of that, and then we'll do a fast little walk down into town. How is that for a view right on your doorstep? Geezer! Mrs. Tooth had to use the bidet
to wash my feet.
Let's do this mooch. That was probably about a 7-minute walk down into town from here, right to the port where the Bakers is. I was the first person in the Bakers, people. It literally just opened. It smelled beautiful in there, Mrs. Tooth. It really did. So we got 2 fat croissants and 1.5 litres of water, and that came in at... Not too sad, eh, people? Not too sad. Right, I'm going to go and munch, and then we're going to have a little wander down the beach, so we will catch up with you in a while. Right, folks, me and Mrs. Tooth are down at Salado Beach. This is what we stopped off yesterday to buy. We've got a shade, which is very handy because there is absolutely nothing here like that at all whatsoever. So I'll spin you around in a minute and show you, but effectively, there's like 4 people walking through there, 2 people walking through there. There's a couple of people walking their dog. But effectively, we've got the whole thing to ourselves. There's nobody here, is there, really?
No.
So just have a look at this view, people. This is why we come here. Now, yeah, all those folks, all just wandering on down there. So they'll probably be heading off to Francesa Beach. All you need is your reef shoes and in your pop, people, in your pop. I don't know, is this a bit of you? Would you want to do something like this? There's no toilets and no shops where we are. You'd have to walk 15 minutes back into town. So, you know, people wee in the sea. It's a done thing. All the fish do it all the time. There's a lot more of them than there are us, I'll tell you that. In fact, it was a topic of debate on Mr. Travel-On show recently as well. The vast majority of people, I think it was like 75–80%, said that they do wee in the sea. I don't think Mrs. Tooth does that. I certainly do. I was saying there's no toilets here, is there?
No.
So...
No, you'd have to go back.
Yeah, but I was just saying Mr. Travel-On had this debate on his channel, and basically 75–80% of people said they wee in the sea. So I'm sorry, Mrs. Tooth, you are one of the outliers.
Got all the fish wee in it.
Well, that's what I said. All the fish are weeing and pooing in it, and there's a damn sight more of them in there than there are us on this little beach. So this behind us now, we've just got these dunes. All this sort of like gorse, which is starting to flower. We've seen some flowering cactuses on the way down here. Cactuses or cacti? I think you're allowed to use either. What do you say? Do you say cactuses or do you say cacti? Personally, I didn't give a shit. I think life's too short for worrying about stuff like that. So, over there you've got Yellow Mountain, which we took the drone up and around last time we were here. This for us, you know, it feels like discovering something that very few people know about. The vast majority of tourists that come here are Spanish, and you do get a few English, but a lot of the sort of English and Germans come over on day trips. And I would say this is probably a place that you have to build up to, right? Unless you absolutely know that this is what you want to do and you just want to come and experience the beaches. You know, we're doing the easy beach today, the one that we can get to in walking distance. Our room is about 5-7 minutes walk to the bakery. And this is about another 15 minutes walk on. So this is like 20-25 minute walk from the room for us. And we're quite happy today just to have a chilled, lazy one on the beach, not do too much at all. Can I get my hand in there? There you go. Thumbs up. We worked our way up to this. Well, Mrs. Tooth did the day trip. I was dehydrated and couldn't make it. But this was my sort of dream to come here. So Mrs. Tooth did a day trip a couple of years ago. And then last year, in November 2024, me and Mrs. Tooth came over with our friend Wendy and we stayed for a night. And by the next day, we were just like, you know what? We want to do this for a week. I don't think I would have ever committed to a week if I'd not come here a couple of times first. But, you know, if you're absolute beach worshippers, we hope to show you this week some of the beaches here rival the Caribbean, and this is 4 hours flight from the UK. It's cheap as chips. Like I said, we are going to do the video on what everything costs. But for now, folks, I'm going to go and torment Mrs. Tooth and lie down, grab a Coke, and we'll get our lunch out a little bit later.
I could hear you anyway.
Right, folks, here we go with a big reveal. It is lunchtime on the beach. Have a look at this. A couple more people turning up now. So, Mrs. Tooth, do you want to show the lovely people what we got? What's that one?
That's got to be mine.
You've got
Barbecue chicken salad.
Let's have a look inside. Plenty of meat in that.
Yeah, I can't open the other side, otherwise it will fall out. And you've got...
Have a guess. What do you reckon that is, Mrs. Tooth?
meat and cheese.
Yeah, cheese and salami. They're good size, aren't they? So we got those. We got a bottle of Coke, and we got 3 litres of water to bring down to the beach with us. Don't worry, folks. We are not leaving that Coke bottle there when we go. That is to put our fag butts in, so that's coming with us. But yeah, so we'll tell you what they cost us when we do our reveal video for the money that we spent this week. And this is our view that we've got while we are sat here having our lunch. You can't say fairer than that, peeps. You can't say fairer than that at all. What a beautiful view. Right, I'm going to go and get some scram in me, because I am an hungry little boy. You've got this big storm cloud moving in. You see it's really dark all the way along the cliffs. And it starts lightening up again. And then you've got that one coming over there. And you've got this beautiful blue sky. That was a much bigger patch of blue sky just now. And then you got this badass bastard here. And then it's blue again off in the distance. So, what are we up to? Yeah, well, I was planning to go in the water with a GoPro, and we just finished lunch and it did start drizzling and raining and going. So we went back to the room. We initiated World War III with our pop-up tent. If you've ever tried to put one of those down, you will feel my pain. Mrs. Tooth is hiding behind a tree, and they were setting up for a band down the front earlier. So we're going to have a little wander down there in the full knowledge that we might get rained on and have to sit in a bar for a couple of hours, which I'm a bit gutted about. Don't know, what do you reckon, Mrs. Tooth? Going and sitting in a bar for a couple of hours if it starts raining, because that'd be terrible, wouldn't it?
Disaster.
But that's what we're going to do anyway, folks. We're Brits abroad. We're not known for being the most intelligent of all the different nationalities. So we are going to go down there, and if we get trapped, we get trapped. Right, we'll see you in a bit. So we did go out,
Yeah,
and it was, the heavens absolutely opened. So we went out for one drink and had 4. And we came home, and we was indoors for a while, and then Mrs. Tooth had to use the bidet.
To wash my feet.
She did, 'cause she was wearing sliders, and we got, like, because it's all sand roads here, and there's no tarmac. You got loads of gritty sand in between your
Yeah,
your
and
toes.
it was all wet and clumpy and horrible.
And
all over my
nasty.
shoes, my feet.
Yeah. So we thought we'd pop in. We thought we'd just sit here for a bit and chill, have a little beer and a little prosecco and some crisps. These aren't just any old crisps, you know. These are M&S. They are M&S crisps. We bought them in the airport. Well, you bought them in the airport, didn't you, on the way out here?
Yeah, I like them ones. They're the salt and black pepper ones. They're
Yeah.
nice.
So we had a nice couple of beers and just a bit of a chilled afternoon after being down the beach this morning. So this is March 2025 now,
Yeah.
and
It was very hot when the sun come out. Really hot.
So you see, like, the average temperature. The average temperature will say like it's like 18 or 19 or 17.
It's nowhere like that.
And it's like when the sun's out and you ain't got a cloud in the sky, it feels like 30, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's no way I'd sit on a beach at home.
No.
At that temperature.
But then
lovely.
when you got the cloud over you and the wind's going, it feels like 15, doesn't it? It's cold.
And then when that rain came down, it was freezing.
Yeah, and that's why we came back to the room. Like, once the rain had stopped, I want to get me hoodie, and you want your sweater, didn't you? And then we're going.
It's not bad now because we're in a bit that's not windy.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So we thought we're going to get our sort of sweaters on and then go back out for dinner. And again, once the sun's gone of an evening, it is a bit chilly sitting there. So we want to do that. So next time you see us, we will probably be out having a bit of something to eat, people. Right, folks, this is probably a really good time to remind you that if you like what we're doing, please do remember to like, comment, subscribe and share. Doesn't cost you a thing, and it really does help us out. And don't forget to ding that notification bell.
Did I say it wrong? I did.
Ballet. Yeah. Vale que sí, vale que no.
Oh no, you've gone too far.
Yep. So we've done the beach today. We've been out drinking in the rain. We've been back to the room. We've done a couple of shorts. We've come out for dinner now. We did go to have a look at one little place because there's something in there that I think Mrs. Tooth will really like. There's a thing on the islands here called carabineros, which are like halfway between a shrimp and a lobster, and they do a paella of it there. But anyway, they weren't open. Yeah, I think you'll like it. They weren't open, so it's Sunday as well, and it's pretty quiet on the island now. there's not really loads going on, is there? There's a couple of other places.
I think a lot of places closed early.
Yeah, so we come back to the same little gaff that we were in last night, but it is a wee bit chilly out, so we've come and sat inside.
It's not a wee bit, it's chilly.
Mrs. Two's bought her coat as well as her jumper.
I have. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, I have.
So we're sitting here. I've got a beer, Mrs. Tooth.
I can't get a Prosecco, so I got a wine.
Yeah, there you go, people. When we came in November, everywhere had Prosecco, didn't they?
Yeah. Not now, they haven't.
No, so it's been white wine, and Mrs. Tooth gets...
Very tired.
Yeah, that's code for drunk. On white wine, where, you know, she does eventually get there on Prosecco, just nowhere near as fast.
No.
So we are
That's why I drink Prosecco.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. So we got in about 7 o'clock. It's probably about 10 past now. The kitchen here don't open till 7:30, but it is Pension Enriqueta Bar and Restaurant. So Pension is like I guess like a boarding house sort of thing that you get in Spain. So there are rooms, but we were talking to her last night, weren't we? And the pension side of things, where the rooms are, is a different business to this bar restaurant. But this is nice in here, you know. A lot of there's what 8-10 restaurants on the islands.
Yeah.
And
we are going to try some of the others.
We are. It just we happen to be in this manor, and we thought, well, do you know what?
It's cold. I don't want to walk too far.
And a lot of the menus are much of a muchness on the island. You know, this isn't a place where you get English breakfasts and Chinese and Indian. There's none of that here. We'll have all that next week when we're over in Lanzarote.
That's it.
Yeah, basically, and chicken and seafood, and then, you know, like salads and stuff like that.
Which I'm happy with.
Yeah, Mrs. Tooth loves seafood and fish. I don't as much, but I'm happy if she's happy. Happy wife, happy life, eh, people? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it right. So, bar a couple of exceptions that do, like the La Santa prawns and the carabineros.
Yeah, I do want to try those.
Yeah. So we come here again tonight because we know that they cook the food well. It's a proper.
They're friendly.
They are very friendly. It's a proper granny's kitchen sort of place. So we're happy with that. It's home cooked food, fresh ingredients. No processed nonsense, and friendly people, and it's a reasonable price. So so what are you going to have tonight?
I had fish last night, so I'm either going to go for the chicken or the steak. I haven't decided. Pulling towards the chicken, but I'll see what I decide when he comes and takes our order.
So it's the house chicken, and then which steak was you going to go
fillet.
for? The fillet or the fillet steak. And me, I am going to go for the fried cheese and the garlic bread with serrano ham. I'm more of a picky grazer sort of person.
Yeah, I'm a big meal person.
Yeah.
I love my food.
Yeah, and I can't eat too much in one go. Which people really get surprised at when they look at me, but honestly, this is not a product of too much food. It's a product of too many years of doing that, people. So that's what we're going to have. But because I am only having a couple little picky bits, I might have a dessert. Because that one.
You can do that.
I know I can.
You're not asking me for permission. You do whatever you like.
No, I'm not asking for permission. I will do whatever I like. Thank you very much.
So what desserts are they? Because it's all in Spanish and I don't understand it.
There's granny's tart.
Really?
Yep. There's cheesecake.
I like cheesecake.
There's a flan, which I would imagine is probably a fruit one, and there's the free chocolate tart.
No, I'm not a dessert person, but I'd go for the cheesecake.
Yeah, well, last time I asked back in March, November, we're in March now, I asked for the free chocolate tart and they didn't have any, and we had, me and Wendy shared, didn't we?
Oh yeah, I
We had
remember
that.
some. I don't even know what it was.
No.
It was like in a little cup thing.
Yeah, it was like a very hard set chocolate mousse, and it had biscuits sort of every centimetre through it,
Yeah, I
but the
remember
biscuits had absorbed probably the mousse when it was still wet. So the biscuits had lost all that crunch, but they tasted completely of chocolate. So that was quite interesting. But yeah, I don't know, cheesecake or free chocolate
I
tart.
probably won't be able to manage a dessert, but if I do, it's cheesecake.
Fair enough. So we will get back to you in a minute and show you what the food looks like when it comes, because I am well looking forward to this. There's loads of stuff on here, and limpets are a real speciality on the island. I've seen a couple of different ways they do them, but one way they do it with squid ink, another way they do it with like the green mojo sauce, which is a little bit like a chimichurri but without too much spice in it. Loads of fresh herbs cut up and a bit of olive oil, and they just put a little spoon of that into the shell once they've actually cooked the limpets. Would you eat limpets?
Yes, I would.
Was anybody talking to you?
I don't care. You asked a question and I answered. Yes,
Right,
I
so
would.
there's the first
I try
answer.
anything. I do try anything.
There's the first answer. Go and put that in the comments, Mrs. Tooth.
No, I just said it. I don't need to
No,
put it in the comments.
Let us know in the comments if you would eat limpets, people. 'cause
Yes, I would.
we know. That's the last wine you're having. No, Mrs. Tooth doesn't have to ask for permission, but she does need to ask for an arm home.
Yes.
Yes. She's already nearly fallen over a few times today.
No, once. And
Twice.
that was early in the morning. It was
Twice.
No, once.
3 times actually, my lady.
A lady.
Right, we'll leave it there, people, and we'll come back when the food is on the table, show you what it was, and then we will capture the bill. You're not going to see that yet because that will go into the everything we spent video on this island before we head over to Lanzarote next week.